So to start, could you just introduce yourself and explain your job or where you work?
My name is Stephen Matterazzo. Um, I live in Portland. Um, I've been a chef for 25 years or so. I am currently unemployed due to COVID.
What did you do for your education leading up to becoming a chef?
I worked in restaurants from the time I was 15 years old. Um, I went to Johnson Wales University for 2 years to get my associate's degree, and then after that, I went to work.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
As a chef, uh, well, it was preparing food. When I worked institutional food, it was preparing food for people at hospitals or convalescent homes, anywhere from uh, 15 people to 450 people, depending on where I worked. Um, and it was just making sure people got fed. I always treated food like it was medicine, because it's part of the healing process. So I always treated it that way.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Um, well, connecting with the people, the residents, when I worked in assisted living, that was an important part to me. Um, working with the other people. As a chef, getting to be creative at times was a very important part of my job. I really enjoyed just working with different people from different backgrounds, and that was the best part about being a chef. You're always you met some interesting people.
Going off of that, what would you say the least favorite part of your job is?
Um, well, once I became a manager, probably having to be a disciplinarian at times. Having to, I enjoyed teaching that side of it. So when I had to, when you had adults who acted like not like adults, um, I didn't like that part of it a lot. You always understood when kids were younger, they were going to, they were still learning and they're immature, and you dealt with people who didn't have the life experiences to fall back on, a lot of times. But when you dealt with a lot of adults in this industry, unfortunately with food service, a lot of people end up in food service. They don't choose food service, and they just, they lack discipline, a lot of people.
What drew you to this career or made you want to do this job?
Well, my mother was a cook. um, I worked in food service from the time I was 15, and I kind of, some of my people who I considered some of my role models, and some of my, the people who I, you know, enjoyed to be around, the type of people I enjoyed to be around. Um, that was kind of what led me there. I, I liked, when I was younger, especially, the adrenaline is a big draw for a lot of people who work in food service. It's a fast paced, heavy pressure, but the feeling, the rewarding feeling that you get when you accomplish, like when you put out a nice wedding, or even just a nice meal, or whatever. It really is a very fulfilling thing.
What are some important qualities someone would need to do this job?
Um, well, you have to have integrity is number one. You're dealing with people's food. Um, Integrity is the most important thing. Creativity is a very large part of it. Um, Timeliness. I know it sounds crazy as being a trait, but like somebody who understands the value of showing up on time, being at a place where they're supposed to be there, and understanding what their responsibilities are once they do get there. And that's an important part of, probably the most important part of food service.
And lastly, is there anything else you would like to share with someone who is interested in this type of career?
Um, try to pick good role models. Um, don't don't look at uh, uh, people who are like the good time guys as being the people you should follow. Look at the people who take it serious. Try to pick their brains. Look for the smartest people in the room. Try to take as much from them as you can. Um, use their use the things that you find um, good traits in them as what you want to have in you. And the other thing is too is to try to be a role model for other people once you do get there. And to I always used to tell a lot of the chefs that I used to work with is that you set the tone when you're the chef in the room, when you're the manager, when you're the line cook, whatever you are, you set the tone. And that's an important thing, is that if you want to work in food service, you have to be the kind of person who wants to set the tone. Don't be a follower. Just be smart enough to know when to follow, but don't be a follower. So that's about
Well,
it.
that's all the questions we have, but thank you for coming and letting us interview you.
Yeah, you're welcome.